Hey there, Patriots. Hope you're all doing well. I don't know how many of you who are watching right now were around when I originally made a video on this game. I was significantly smaller back then than what I am now, so more than likely, the vast majority of you have probably never seen that video. And this video is a follow-up on that video because 1.0 came out for Halls of Torment about a couple months ago. Now, you may be wondering why I'm just getting to it now. And well, the reason for that is because it's super easy to get backlogged in both in terms of video games and videos. So only just now am I able to start working on this video. But I am super excited to finally start on this video. Lots of videos put in there. Now, I'm gonna be super honest with you. There is a lot has been added since I last made a video on this game. So much so that I'm not going to be able to go into all the details. For one, because I don't want to spoil all the content for you, and two, because there's literally so much I just spend too much time going over everything. So for this video, I'm going to be going over all the bits that I think are worth covering the most. Another thing I want to mention too is that not everything that is new was added specifically with 1.0. There have been some content updates in the past that added some new characters, new items, and challenges previous to 1.0. I played the game during these updates, so trying to keep track of exactly what is new and what isn't for my previous video might be a bit shaky, since I'm so used to all the content previous to 1.0. So there will be a mix of non-1.0 and 1.0 specific content that I will be going over. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Halls of Torment 1.0. One of the biggest and probably the most important add-on to this game is Agony Mode. And well, why is that? Agony Mode is where a lot of your endgame is going to be, and trust me, there's a lot of endgame. What Agony Mode is that it's more like a setting that you turn on before your runs where enemy health and damage scales over time by a progression meter shown on your screen mid-run. And this progress bar adjusts depending on how well your run is doing. Got a build going that is killing enemies before they appear on your screen, that progress bar is going to fill up pretty quick. But if your build isn't doing so hot, then that bar is going to fill up a bit slower, and it might even regress if you're really struggling. But why do you want to fill up this bar? Well, the higher the agony you're in, more enemies spawn in, and more enemies means more XP. And that XP means more levels to make you stronger. It's quite simple. Again, Agony Mode is there for the late game when you start to get quests that require you to do X amount of damage on a character or an ability, or kill a certain amount of enemies, or some just straight up require you to play in Agony Mode. And speaking of quests, there's a lot more quests to do than what there was before 1.0. I think in the last video I made of this game, there were about 200 quests. Every quest complete equals an achievement. In 1.0, there is currently 500 quests for you to complete. To give you an idea on how much that is, when I completed 200 of the quests when the game was in early access, I had about roughly 60-ish hours. Now, in 1.0, I have 107 hours and only have 352 out of the 500 achievements. If you're a completionist, you're going to be eating good with this game. And even if you're not a completionist, you still have tons of content for you to earn. And yes, you earn everything in this game. For just a price of $6.66, aka 666, you get nearly hundreds of hours worth of content that you earn. And again, if you're wondering why I'm freaking out at the game having 500 achievements, as I said, every single one of those achievements are quests in the game that you complete, and completing those quests is your progression. That is how you earn new characters, new abilities, new items, and so on. And speaking of characters, they've added quite a bit of characters for you to earn and play with. I won't go over what every character does because, again, I don't want to spoil the content for you, but I can say for sure that every character is usable if you know how to build them. Though, I won't lie, I do feel like the Barbarian is one of the more stronger characters without having to have a specific build for him. Since the last time I played, the game originally had 3 levels. The dungeon chamber looking level, the hell level, and the level with the bridge. But now the game currently has 5 levels with a bonus level that I'll keep a secret for you guys. But let me just say, the secret level is the hardest one in the game. Something that is very vital to your build are the abilities you can pick and choose from whenever you're in the middle of a run. With the content updates, there have been some new and fun abilities to use. My most favorite of the new abilities is the Morning Star. The Morning Star kinda sucks unupgraded, but once you get the Butterfly Motion Swing upgrade, the Morning Star goes from like an E tier ability to easily an S tier ability. It does massive damage and is really good at knocking out those crowds around you. Another really good ability, and honestly it's kinda busted, is Flame Strike. In terms of raw damage, Flame Strike is the strongest ability you can get. If you fully charge it, you can literally do hundreds of thousands of damage if heavily upgraded. Morning Stars and Flame Strike are always must-haves for me every time I go on a run because they're just too good not to have. There are other abilities that are really good too, but Morning Stars and Flame Strike are the ones worth highlighting the most. Another really cool add-on they've added are these things called artifacts. Now, if you played something like Risk of Rain 2, then you already know the nature of what these do, but for maybe those of you who haven't played Risk of Rain 2, artifacts are basically modifiers that change or add different elements into your runs. Like for example, the artifact I have. One artifact just simply increases enemy spawns but shortens the run timer. Another one adds traps to the dungeons, and one also just randomly spawns magma under your feet. Now, of course, there are bonuses to using these artifacts. For every artifact you enable, you get some XP and other bonuses. One thing to note though is that you can only use artifacts in Agony mode. So if you really want to test your might, playing in Agony mode along with the artifacts is the way to do it. And again, late game, you will have quests to do these things. You know, I normally don't like to simp for game companies. I'm sure you don't need to guess why. But every once in a while, there comes a company that is worth singing praise over, and Chasing Carrot Studios is one of those. Ever since Halls of Torment released in early access, I have been a big fan. In fact, I think I would go as far to say that Halls of Torment is probably the second best game of its genre, only being overstepped by Risk of Rain 2, which by the way is an incredible achievement. The devs have worked incredibly hard to get to 1.0 for this game, and their hard work paid off. I saw that they sold 1 million copies, and I could not be more happy. It's more than well deserved, and I'm so glad so many people gave this game a chance because it sure as hell deserves one. If you have not tried out this game yet, then I highly encourage you do. It's extremely cheap, you get many times more playtime than the money you spend on it, and it's always a good time. I highly doubt the devs will ever see this video, but in the 1 in a million chance you guys do, I just want to say congratulations on the incredible game. This game has been some of the most fun I've had with an indie game in a long time, and for me personally, I would say this is Indie Game of the Year. I cannot stop recommending it to people. I've gotten my friend into it. It's such a great game, and it makes me sad to see not a whole lot of people talk about it here on YouTube. So, since no one else is talking about it, I will. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed the video. And most importantly, I hope this video is giving you a reason to try out this game. Again, it's a fantastic game, and I give it my seal of approval. But with all that said, thank you all for watching, and I shall see you when the next video drops.